And it looked like the WNBA has become the laughingstock of all sports, man, because the ticket prices are horrendous. This is a championship game,
If you
dog.
guys, we're talking about $25 tickets for the most significant series of the year. And no, that isn't a misprint. So how did the most successful season in WNBA history lead to half-full arenas and clearance rack ticket prices? Would you even bother going if tickets were only $25? Let's get into this mess, because it's truly unbelievable. The WNBA has spent the entire season boasting about record-breaking viewership, historic expansion, and unprecedented momentum. Yet, here we are at the finals, and ticket prices have dropped faster than a Caitlin Clark drive to the basket with no foul call.
Haven't seen the get-in prices for these games. The get-in price for every single game, even Game 7. Even Game 7, the get-in price is less than a random...
Finals will debut. The Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. And I'm telling you right now, this is probably going to be one of the lowest rated WNBA finals in a mighty long time.
Let's be precise. Game 1 of the WNBA finals is in Las Vegas. You would assume the entertainment capital of the world would be sold out for this, correct? Wrong. Nosebleed seats, $30. Lower bowl tickets, $45. If you want to sit right behind the bench, it's $90. A seat in the second row from the court is about $130. I have seen concert parking passes that cost more. Now, when you compare this to last year, these exact same seats were selling for 2 to 3 times this price. Courtside last year was around $2,000. This year, you can find one for just under $1,000. And that's if you want to splurge behind the basket. Ticket prices are in the $800 range, and frankly, that's likely the only section of the arena that's anywhere close to being sold out. And the best part? These are not reseller prices. These are listed directly on Ticketmaster and SeatGeek, which means the league and the teams can't even get people to buy tickets at face value.
Now, we know the controversy that led up to this game is pretty much attached to Caitlin's name. That is the Las Vegas Aces actually knocking off Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Well, Caitlin did not play, but we know the referees kind of had a hand in that, we should say, with kind of making sure the Las Vegas Aces was pushed to making it to the finals. Not to mention, we got none other than Dewana Bonner, former Indiana Fever, quit the team herself in the talk and conversation of this WNBA finals. And more importantly, her significant other, Alyssa Thomas, has found herself in some hot water as well, with not really speaking about the current state.
It isn't that Las Vegas dislikes basketball. The Aces have been a dominant force. Ija Wilson is putting up superstar-level stats. Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum are bona fide Showtime caliber players, and they are competing against the Phoenix Mercury, a team that has managed to fight its way back to relevance. But the fact is, nobody outside of the hardcore WNBA fan base is interested, and that is the league's greatest fear, because when Caitlin Clark was playing, tickets would sell out within hours. You couldn't find resale tickets for under $200 for Fever games back in May. But now, with her absent from the court, the excitement has completely vanished.
And that is the WNBA ticket prices. Yes, you guys heard me correctly.
This situation proves what many fans have been arguing. The league's popularity this year wasn't due to authentic growth or effective marketing. It was because of Caitlin Clark. She was the attraction. She is the one who brought in the fans, the headlines, the corporate sponsors, and the high ratings. Without her, the league finds itself back where it has been for years, fighting to stay relevant. Now, this is where it becomes either comical or tragic, depending on your perspective. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is still making public statements about the league being in the most powerful position it has ever been. Ma'am, if the league is so strong, why does it cost less to attend your finals than it does to bowl a couple of frames at the MGM Grand? The ticket price charts tell the whole story. Prices began at about $50 for upper deck seats when the matchup was first announced. Within a single week, they had dropped by 20%. By the time the media began to cover the story, you could purchase lower bowl seats for less than $60.
Ticket prices. So Legion Hoops, they made it their business to tweet about this. Now, I find this to be quite funny, me personally, bro. It says tickets for Game 1 for the WNBA final between the Aces and Mercury are starting at just $30.
This is an optical disaster, especially when you consider that the WNBA has been pushing this narrative of historic growth all year long. They've secured brand deals, Nike partnerships, and record merchandise sales. But what is the value of all that if nobody actually comes to your championship series? Naturally, online defenders are already in damage control. But it's in Vegas, they argue. There is so much competition for people's attention. That may be true, but this is the final. When the NBA Finals are eventually held in Vegas, you will not see $25 tickets. You won't find $45 lower bowl seats. You will see people paying thousands of dollars because people are invested.
Four-time WNBA MVP A'ja Wilson can't even get tickets up to $50. Bruh. This is bad. I mean, this is beyond bad. This just tells you the state of this damn league. And I'm here to tell you, oh, this is hella funny. It says the most unwatchable basketball product possible between the two teams left standing, not to decimate it by injury. Cathy Engelbert really outdid it herself.
The truth is that the league made a huge mistake. They relied too heavily on social media buzz and not enough on cultivating a fan base that actually attends games. And here is another point that no one wants to admit publicly. This finals matchup has zero storylines that appeal to casual fans. You don't have Caitlinclark, you don't have Angel Reese, you don't have any viral controversies or trash talk to keep the public engaged. It's simply basketball, and while the on-court product may be high quality, the league has conditioned fans to care more about the drama than the game itself. Let's be realistic. The Mercury vs. Aces series doesn't have a natural marketing angle. There's no established rivalry, no underlying tension, no hero versus villain narrative. It's just two skilled teams playing in front of mostly empty stands. Even some of the players have started to subtly acknowledge that the energy at the finals is lacking. Compare this to the beginning of the season, when every single Caitlinclark game felt like a major national event. The Fever's games were packed, reporters were everywhere, and fans were lining up outside the arenas. That energy has disappeared, and it isn't just because Clark is injured. It's about how the league treated her and her supporters all season. Every time she was fouled hard, overlooked by officials, or criticized, the fans took note. Every time other players seemed to mock her success, fans started to disengage. Now that the Caitlin bump is over, the numbers are returning to their previous levels. And let's not forget how this situation looks as the league heads into CBA negotiations. The players are asking for higher salaries, a larger share of the revenue, and improved benefits. That is perfectly reasonable, but how can you demand a significant pay increase when your finals tickets are struggling to sell for more than $40? The team owners and network executives will undoubtedly use this as leverage. They will say, look, you had your most successful season ever, and the fans still didn't show up for the championship. The sad part is that this damages everyone, the players, the fans, and the league itself. Low attendance doesn't just result in lost ticket revenue, it also leads to fewer sponsorship deals, less valuable media rights, and diminished leverage in all future business dealings. And through all of this, you have Cathy Engelbert holding press conferences as if everything is fine, talking about record growth, expanding the game, and the league's strong position. Meanwhile, fans can't be persuaded to attend for a mere $30 ticket. If you're going to claim unprecedented success, you can't simultaneously have unprecedented apathy from your audience. To make matters worse, the online perception is brutal. People are sharing screenshots of ticket maps that show hundreds of unsold seats in every section of the arena. Some are sarcastically referring to it as the most accessible finals in history. Others joke that the silence in the arena is more noticeable than the officiating whistles were this season. This all comes back to one major problem. The league consistently ignores what its fans actually want. They want consistency. They want their star players to be promoted effectively. They want fair officiating and respect for the athletes, not endless politics, drama, and public relations spin. But the WNBA continues to stumble over itself, trying to find a balance between managing its image and engaging with its fans. It's as if they are allergic to any success that develops organically. Caitlinclark brought in an audience they could have only dreamed of, and instead of capitalizing on it, they treated it like an issue to be managed. Now see where that has led. A finals with historically low ticket prices, half-empty venues, and a commissioner who is pretending that this was all part of the master plan. It is both hilarious and deeply depressing, and frankly, if this trend continues, next year's finals might have to be held in a high school gymnasium. Now let's discuss how this entire collapse could have been prevented, because honestly, it didn't need to be this catastrophic. The WNBA had all the necessary components for a hugely successful final stretch of the season. They had a growing fan base, national media attention, new corporate sponsors, and one of the most talked about athletes in all of sports. Yet, somehow, they managed to squander that momentum and end up with $30 tickets. It's almost impressive in a perverse way. For months, Cathy Engelbert and her team were congratulating themselves as if they had solved the puzzle of women's basketball. Every press conference had the same talking points. The numbers are up. The brand is strong. We are growing faster than ever before. But behind all the corporate slogans, the actual product remained unchanged. The marketing was still limited, the officiating was still a source of complaints, and the broadcast presentation was still uninspired. They believed that hype alone would be enough to carry the final, and now they have been hit with a harsh dose of reality. Even the players are aware of it. Sophie Cunningham, Napheesa Collier, and A'ja Wilson have all at different times criticized the league's leadership, but instead of addressing the problems, Engelbert just continues to hold listening sessions and form new task forces. That's just what every struggling sports league needs. More committees, more meetings, and less decisive action. The truth is that the league is refusing to acknowledge the one thing that is painfully clear. Fans showed up for Caitlin-Clark, not for the WNBA as a whole. That is the uncomfortable truth that everyone in charge is afraid to say out loud. Without her, there is no excitement. There is no drama. There is no single player capable of drawing in millions of casual viewers. The finals should feel like the climax of the season, not the quiet morning after the big party. Now the marketing department is scrambling to post highlight clips, create storylines, and flood social media with generic empowerment hashtags. But it is far too late for that. You can't use hashtags to fill empty seats, and this attempt to spin the cheap tickets is a positive plea. They are calling it making the finals accessible for all fans. No, it's making the finals look desperate. Accessibility is when you sell out your venue and then open up more seating. It is not when you have to slash your prices by 70% because nobody is buying tickets. Even ESPN doesn't seem to be excited about it. The coverage feels unenthusiastic. The shots of the crowd look awkward. There are rows of empty seats visible right behind the broadcast desk, which completely kills the energy of the television broadcast. For a league that constantly talks about building momentum, this finals feels like someone just slammed on the emergency brakes. And the most absurd part is that they can't even blame the economy. The same people who are spending hundreds of dollars on concert tickets, UFC fights, or college football games are choosing to skip this. It isn't about the money, it's about the level of interest. If people are not willing to spend even $30 to watch your championship series live, you don't have a pricing problem, you have a relevance problem. The WNBA was given a once-in-a-generation opportunity to secure a new, larger fan base. All they needed to do was keep those fans entertained and make them feel that the league was worth following, even when Clark wasn't playing. But instead, they managed to alienate her fan base, ignore her supporters, and turn every potential storyline into off-court drama. And now they are paying the price for it, quite literally. You would think that after years of chanting the mantra, "We're growing the game," they would have realized that growth is meaningless if people stop showing up when it matters most. Fans are not demanding perfection. They are asking for excitement, for effort, for leadership that doesn't seem like it's running a disorganized summer camp. Let's be serious. The league cannot continue to pretend that this is acceptable. You can't tweet about record growth every other week and then sell $25 finals tickets in Las Vegas as if you're promoting a middle school talent show. That isn't growth. That is panic that's being disguised as optimism. And don't misunderstand me. Las Vegas has held up its end of the bargain. The Aces are an exciting team. They have star players, a dedicated local fan base, and a great home court environment. But when even their finals games look half empty, you know that the problem is bigger than just one team. The Mercury may not have the same star power as Caitlin-Clark, but this is supposed to be the championship round, not a preseason exhibition game. Every major sport relies on hype to sell its biggest events. The Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, March Madness. They all feel like massive cultural events. The WNBA Finals, on the other hand, feels like it was accidentally scheduled between two local pickleball tournaments. And let's not forget that this was supposed to be their banner year. With all the attention that Clark brought, the league had a guaranteed win right in front of them. All they had to do was double down on their marketing, ride the wave of popularity, and create a finals atmosphere that felt larger than life. But instead, they became complacent. They simply assumed that the attention would carry over, that fans would continue to watch out of sheer habit. That is not how fan engagement works. You have to give people a compelling reason to care. You have to build storylines, create rivalries, and generate tension, something that makes fans think, I absolutely cannot miss this. Instead, the biggest storyline of the finals is how cheap the tickets are. So yes, $25 will get you into the finals, and it seems nobody is rushing to buy. The WNBA claims it's growing, but the thousands of empty seats tell a very different story. Perhaps the league should concentrate less on social media.